Hello everyone, welcome to the Gaming Zone. I am your host Chriz, aka The Mole, but you already knew that. Joining me is, of course, James Phoenix, Ricktor Hammer, Marcus Shadow, and the ChrisB. For a very special, Gaming Zone review. This is WWE 2K14. So, starting up, let's start with the good. I will let James take us away first. Jim, what kind of things are you enjoying in this game so far?
Before you do that, did you want to introduce the attendees?
I already did.
Yes. You did?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Well, this is off to a great start. Jim's already jimming the review.
It just sounded like he introduced the review. I didn't hear him give anybody's names out. Because normally we say our names and then each person says hello.
Yeah, recently I've been doing with Ricktor and stuff where we just do a fast, James Phoenix, Ricktor Hammer, Mark Shadow, ChrisB, so it makes it shorter.
Fair enough. Anyway, so the good. Well, I do have to say, I like what they did with the gameplay controls this year. When they kind of fixed the reversal system, so instead of being an endless reversal back and forth, it actually does a move which breaks it up so you can keep the match going. It feels a little more realistic that way. I also like how they made the matches just generally feel more fluid. And they made the strikes a little bit faster, which is both a bad and a good. I think it's good in that it lets you, get your strike combo off without being blocked every single time. And it also, again, allows to an alternate mode of attack besides constantly grappling. So I think the gameplay is a lot smoother, a lot more realistic in terms of match type, and a lot more, just a lot more fun to play.
I could see that. How about you, Marcus? What are you enjoying with the gameplay?
Pretty close to the same things as Jim. It does seem a little bit more fluid. The animations, for the most part, seem a little bit more fluid. The startup animation for the running, sometimes that can get annoying, but I like that it takes a little bit to start running, because that does kind of prevent you from spamming running moves. I mean, you can still kind of do it, but it's not as easy to do it now.
Especially if your speed and agility are maxed out.
Exactly. It makes Jim less annoying, which I'm all for. The countering, I kind of like, but I won't get into the countering part of it, but I also do kind of agree with you, Mole, of people could abuse that and adopt that as a strategy. That could get really annoying if they do.
Yep.
But for the most part, I like kind of how it plays. The gameplay is slightly better, to a degree. The presentation I actually kind of like in terms of the graphics and stuff. Because some of the characters they actually look better than they have in recent years. Especially especially Macho Man Randy Savage. He's the one that's impressed me the most because his outfit is so highly detailed, it's insane.
I agree his outfit's detailed. I didn't like his face.
True. Well, if it's one thing Yuke sucks at, it's doing faces properly.
Oh, come on, how hard is it to get Macho Man in there and scan his face?
Nigh impossible.
Well, they could have just hired Black Macho Man from TNA.
That's true.
I'd like to pause and interject that during the editing of this particular episode, the Crystal Ball put up the picture of Booker T in the TNA game and in the WWE games.
I may, but I don't know if I will yet to our audience. But how about you, ChrisB? What gameplay-wise? What are you enjoying gameplay-wise?
Well, it's more fluent, I guess.
I can tell by that you're the opinion I am. It's pretty much the same gameplay.
Yeah. Everything about it is just exactly the same as last year.
Pretty much gameplay-wise. I left you to last since you've had the least experience with the game, Rick. Was there anything you wanted to add gameplay-wise?
Not really, other than I actually like that the counters aren't constant chaining, just because the computer has a tendency to abuse that. And I don't play online, so that's not really a concern for me about other people being assholes. But I can understand that concern.
Fair enough. And since we'll move on to the next bit of likes and stuff like that, because Although, actually, I'll give mine. Gameplay-wise, the stuff I like... Okay, I kind of like the double OMGs they introduced this year. I liked that.
Yeah.
Those are pretty cool. I also liked some elements of the gameplay a little bit more with... Some of it did feel a little bit better, but like the ChrisB said, it's pretty much the same thing. The new reversal system is still easy to reverse compared to how it used to be with the 2 buttons. I'll get onto that in the negatives, but so let's go over to the creative suite, because I know Ricktor's had an experience a little bit with the creative suite. Do you want to lead us away, Rick?
With good parts or just anything?
good parts or anything.
Good parts.
Okay, anything.
Okay. Good parts. They finally actually named the parts for create an entrance, so it's not like Superstar 1, 2, 3, 4. They're like 45. I like that they gave them a name, so it's a little bit easier to remember. If you liked one, to go back to it, and B, that you can kind of figure out who it's based off of.
Yeah, by looking at the names.
Yeah, because a lot of times, last time, you look at the first parts, and you're like, I don't know who that is, and then by the time you get to the part that's more recognizable, you're like, wait, what number was that?
Yeah, or you had to pull up a list of preset entrances. I will say though, some of the names are fucking hilarious. I loved Chavo named Kerwin. That made my day right there.
That was pretty good.
But we can discuss all of it. And what negatives have you experienced with the creative stuff?
The fact that I basically froze Marcus Shadow's PS3 twice while looking through the stuff. That was pretty bad.
Yeah, I've had the game freeze on me a few times.
Because I was.
Does this mean that we will not be seeing Ricktor Hammer in the game this year?
And you will in a bit. I was just messing around just to see all the stuff.
Oh, okay.
And I got, I had turned off the prop for one part of it, and then I went to check Charlie Chainsaws, and he came out without the chainsaw, obviously, but it kept making the noise, and then until it froze, it just kept doing the chainsaw noise. So while I was looking through every other entrance, you could just keep hearing the chainsaw. It was hilarious.
He should have come out with the chainsaw. It's an option.
Yeah, I know, but I had turned it off when previous one, and then when I went to preview that, he didn't have it, but it kept the noise forever.
That's hilarious.
I went back to the main menu, and it was still doing the noise. It was great.
I will say, since we talk about the creative bit, I've enjoyed the fact they added superstar heads. That was a great way to go. They just really limited how many that we've got. There should have been diva heads and stuff as well. But the creative, I'll admit I've had some fun with the superstar heads. However, and they fixed story design, it's less glitched. However, I really, really wish they'd fix Create an Arena. If you use a custom logo, it's really tiny. You've experienced that, haven't you, Chris?
Yep.
Did you want to talk about that? Because I know you made your arena.
Well, I made the X-Pound arena, and the X-Pound was just so fucking small that it's
just like we are on the internet.
Hey-oh.
I wasn't going to say that. But
just like we are on the internet, small and insignificant.
Yeah, it's just... It annoyed me that I just couldn't get it big enough.
Yep. That's why I've either downloaded existing arenas, or I've had to, with the arenas I've created, I've used logos already in the game. For the MISC logo, and check this out as well, I found out something really, really weird later on, Marcus. Do you remember I told you about the tiny logos on the announce table?
Mm-hmm.
If you use MISC logo, it almost fills it. It's huge. So you can get the WWE logo huge on the announce table and then shrink it down and make it actual size. But if you go into WWE designs or WWE logos, whatever it's called, for one that's on CAWs as well, and you use the WWE on that, it's too tiny and you can't make it big.
Wow.
But yeah, how about you, Marcus? What are you enjoying with the creative stuff this year?
I do like the options they give you for create entrance and stuff, where you can now actually turn on and off the different parts of the stage and the arena and stuff like that, and you can choose your Minitron. I wish they would allow you to choose the ticker that goes around the arena, because right now they have it linked to your Titantron, which wouldn't be an issue if they actually had correct Titantronage in there, which they don't, and so it screws everything up.
Yep, they removed Create a Titantron, which was annoying.
Yeah, well, I was also talking about the fact that they have the DX Titantron, which I use because I use DX stuff, but it's considered a Shawn Michaels Titantron. So the ticker around the arena by default linked to that is HBK. I'm not HBK.
You're not?
They're taking away the custom videos.
Yes, they have. That's annoying.
Yeah.
It also almost makes the highlight reel feature where you can download videos of like the best moments and stuff, where you not download, but you can create your own. Makes it pointless because all you can do with them is take a screenshot. They seem literally pointless. And we'll get to the screenshot thing I found out a moment ago. It made me facepalm, but
I will say that I am enjoying the superstar heads, like you mentioned, Chris. It is kind of limiting because they don't give you all the heads, but I like the options it gives you, because you can take, if you use the superstar heads models and stuff, you can actually make that in an alternate attire for that actual superstar, which is kind of cool. I wish it gave you more options in it. I wish you could like change your hair, add hats and glasses and stuff, which basically they won't let you modify anything that has to do with the head or face if you use a superstar head, which I find kind of BS.
the reason why they did that, in my opinion, it's because they have Kane, and if you took off his mask and got unmasked Kane, it'd be like, no, we need you to buy the DLC of Unmasked Kane.
Well, you can lock off certain parts of it, like if you have masked Kane, you can't remove the mask or something like that.
Yeah, that was the point. It's like you should have been able to do something more like changing and stuff. Like me and Richter mentioned in the past with No Mercy. It had edit superstars. Like I mentioned, one of the first things I did with that was take Kane's mask off to try and see what he looked like, because this was before Kane was unmasked. Apparently what he looked like underneath was pitch black.
Mm-hmm. I was just going to bring that up and say that's what they should have done this year when you tried to take Kane's mask off if you didn't have the DLC.
Yeah. Since we've all discussed that, sorry, you go, Marcus.
Yeah, I just wanted to finish with shameless plug. I did create a Daniel Bryan attire. It is up on the community. It is titled Yes! YES! Exclamation point. It's his red and black attire with the flames on his kick pads and stuff. And I gave him a pink Yes, Yes, Yes shirt. So download it, rate it, please, because I think it's awesome. I think it came out well.
If you're going by that as well, John Cena in a Superman attire and 4 available now.
For Triple H.
Yeah, for Triple H. But
yes, you can look those up under Forever Degenerate and Chriz the Mole. No, actually, no. What? Yeah, it's SSJ Mole. Sorry.
But what are you enjoying with the creative stuff, James?
To me, it seemed like a lot of the create stuff was the same. They obviously added some new moves. I like the new comebacks. The new comebacks are really cool. In the creative move, the Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior one that included the signature and finisher were very unique. I like those. Kane one was kind of cool. Overall, just having more comebacks is always a good thing. So I like the moves they put in there. The fact they moved comeback under your special moves instead of having it up under your standard actions is helpful.
Hasn't it always been under special moves?
No, it used to be up under standard actions.
What did?
The comeback.
No, it used to be under special moves.
I thought it was always under special moves.
It was under special moves from the moment they introduced it. It was taunts, it's understanding.
And just Wake Up Taunt they added. Wrong one. Yeah, Wake Up Taunt they just added a special move. That used to only be under taunt. Okay. Yeah, I like they added Wake Up Taunt under there so you can set that, because that sort of is a special move, so it makes sense to have it under there. And
I wish you could set it off.
That too. And just the wide variety of moves that they have in the game. I like that WWE was pretty ballsy this year with the naming of their quote-unquote unaffiliated move sets.
Yep.
Like what's like S Joe and what was it, the what do they call it? Just out the amazing one, whatever that's called. I don't remember what they said it was. Astonishing, something like that.
I can't remember.
Having ones that are clearly, things like the bizarre one, which is, things that are blatantly obvious what they are.
But you had the bizarre one?
I thought they had the bizarre one. Maybe that was only in the entrance.
I will admit, when I made Simon, hi big gay audience Simon, when I made Simon I did look for Goldust's movesets but couldn't find it. I wanted him to have Goldust's moveset.
So that's pretty cool. I haven't really done anything in the story creator. I don't typically use that much, nor have I played around with the create arena too much. Although I will say that ChrisB created a X-Pound arena that came out very well, even with the necessary use of the Extreme Rules ring apron.
That was necessary.
I said with the necessary.
Yeah, but I meant that was needed because of how they broke it.
Mm-hmm. I still don't quite get how you could have the logo just fine on two sides, but not on the other two sides.
I think he forgot to turn it off on the other side. He was using it as a placeholder to build the X on top of the Extreme Rules. Like we said, custom logos are really tiny.
Oh, I see. So you built it. Oh, I get what you did now. Okay, fair enough. Now I understand.
He found a way around it. ChrisB's he's smarter than he looks, or our best testing indicates.
Smarter than the average bear.
Fuck you, Bob.
There it is. So that's pretty. Yes, Bonta is good. So. Yeah, overall the Create Suite seems not a drastic amount of changes, but certainly enough changes that it's fun. I will say I think they fixed the creative finisher finally. I was able to make an effective Flight of the Phoenix and the creative finishers now actually weighted in the game instead of being crap and making them pointless. I really like that's why I was able to actually use my custom.
Not according to the mole.
Nope.
Well, my custom Flight of the Phoenix is weighted and works just fine, and so does my Talent Strike.
I used a custom signature while I was playing with the ChrisB against the computer, and I've done it multiple times, and yeah, the computer keeps kicking out after one.
Well,
but if I do a finisher, they die instantly. Despite the fact I gave, the one person I gave it to in the thing, and it's not just because it was Cena, I also did this to other people in Universe, online with Cena, I RKO'd him at least twice, and I also did, when I did my signature move, and because I did my signature move, he kicked out at one, and I did another RKO, 1, 2, 3.
Yes, but that's not just your created signature. That's any signature.
Nope, because I've pinned people off my chokeslam multiple times when I had a regular chokeslam.
Well, I don't know what to tell you, but in my experience is that they've been weighted enough that they've worked for me.
Fair enough.
Maybe that's just me. I don't know.
It might be the impact.
It might be. Because mine tends to be off the top rope, so maybe there's enough impact on it that works. I don't know.
Yeah, but yours is triple.
Yeah, mine's powerbomb, and jackknife powerbomb.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah, it looks awesome. But yeah,
I don't know. ChrisB, does your triple cross chop pedigree seem to be weighted?
I don't think so.
All right then.
But mine's finishes.
Well, it's put us down, multiples of us down at least multiple times, so it works. Well, anyway, so yeah, overall the creative finisher seems to be just a little bit better in terms of putting your moves together, the options you have. It seems to be working a little more better. Yeah, that's great grammar. Good job, Jim. It seems to be functioning better overall, and I really like that. I think, like I said, the move sets are a little more interesting. I haven't seen it. I haven't tested it to find out, but I think, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, they fixed. I said I may be wrong, but I think they fixed the change your attire, erase your moveset glitch.
Fair enough.
I think, I don't know, I haven't actually intentionally tried that to find out. I made a moveset backup just in case, but, and you may want to do that, but I think that glitch is fixed. As far as I can tell, I haven't heard anybody or seen anybody posting about it online, so.
Yeah.
But, overall I think the Create Suite, some of them seem the same, some of them seem good. I will say, Title Belt Creator, very, very good. Obviously, they had just the minor version of it last year, but this year it's really, really good. You can put your custom logos on it, all kinds of different options. You can put pictures of the real belts on it, customize your side plates, the colors, patterns. It's really, really cool belt creator. I think they did a great job with that.
Fair enough.
I was having problems with it.
Yeah.
What was your problem with it?
I went custom belt instead of the changing standard ones.
Yeah, I did the same.
And I just couldn't change the side plates.
Yeah, the side plates were locked onto what belt you designed. You have to then make the picture and stuff match. It's very limited compared to the original clear belt.
Yes, there are. Yeah, there's each of the 4 default belts you can choose from. The plates are pretty much set, so you have to go with the plates that are there. But you can customize the plates, and I didn't find that an issue. Like I said, I took your custom X-Pound logo, which means I actually put that on the center plate with a fence-looking thing behind it, and then on the side plates I represented all of us. The far left was the Gold Phoenix symbol, then a DX for Marcus, then an Undertaker symbol with your little hazard sign over it for the 2 of you, and then the last one being a cross sledgehammers for Ricktor.
I will say before we go to the next one, which will probably be the 30 years of WrestleMania mode, before we go there, should we discuss the negatives with gameplay and creative, since we've already started doing that anyway?
I thought that's what we were doing.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, because we didn't actually mention the negatives with the gameplay much. Did you want to take us away, since I know you had some negatives, Ricktor, with your experience, besides the crashing? I'm not sure if you had any other negatives.
Just gameplay-wise?
Yeah.
I know this isn't new, but the computer does its, comeback bullshit if it wants to.
Yep.
It's just like, oh, you're not winning now, so my turn, and you're just like, oh, that's cool, and they counter, everything you do, and you're like, oh, that's fun, I guess.
Yeah, it's got the, like I mentioned to Marcus, as I called it the artificial difficulty. Instead of being difficulty because the computer's targeting your limbs, or it's being really, aggressive and ruthless, it's only difficult because the computer instantly reverses. That's not difficult, that's just fake difficulty.
Or just look up TV tropes for the computer is a cheap bastard, and that'll explain it.
Yes, it will.
Yep.
Thank you, Bald of Awesomeness. But no, I will say, problems I've had with the creative stuff this year, and gameplay-wise, number 1, OMGs. I mentioned a plus for the double ones. OMGs, again, sometimes they don't work. I've had them where they don't work, because, well, not work, but they don't work like they should. Because I targeted, when I was in a matchup with, I think it was Batista in Universe Mode, I targeted his head. His head was completely red, he was busted open. His ribs was on red. I targeted every limb in his body just because I was making a point. I got him completely to red. I then swung him into the barricade and speared him through it. I went to pin him. No, it wasn't pinning him, but I was the last man standing one. I did him into the barricade. The ref went 1, 2, and he's back up to his feet after he used resiliency earlier on, so he didn't use resiliency. He just got straight up. Same thing happened when I went to pin people. It's like, what? We had that one online with you, Jim, where I did that OMG to the apron. Went out, I just got into the ring, got outside to get a weapon. By the time I did that, Jim was up on his feet, back in the ring and up a ladder. OMGs are not working like they're supposed to.
And in reference to the last one, it's been my experience playing with, not my guy, because I know we use it on James Phoenix, but on my other characters that I've played, that they've changed something in that things like resiliencies and comebacks can now be achieved more than once per match, so he might have gotten a resiliency again.
No, I don't think they can.
Because it's happened to me before where it's happened, like the comebacks and things have come back multiple times in a match. So
Has that been online?
Might be, I'm not sure.
Because I think I may have been online glitch, because I've never had that offline.
Okay, maybe it's an online glitch.
Wow.
I've seen it online when we were with, I think it was Marcus, where he got a resiliency twice in a matchup. But I've never had that. I've only seen it online. But the other thing I think is kind of stupid, they've changed some of the moves. Not reanimated them, but do you remember my choke slam I used to use off the top rope, Chris, to throw people through tables and stuff? It's no longer a directional throw, you can't control it. But yet it's the same animation. Batista's Batista bomb, when you do it, it doesn't have the pin option like it used to, where he used to do it in real life, where Batista bombs him and instantly pins him. Don't have that option anymore. Which just seems stupid. And there is other gameplay issues I've got, but I know other people have the same ones, so how about you, Jim, gameplay-wise issues?
Gameplay-wise issues, one thing I noticed, and again, I'll say most of the matches that I've played have been online. I've done very few matches in the exhibition, or I've just set up my universe a day or two ago, so I haven't done very many matches in there yet, or an exhibition. But one thing I have noticed is, at least in online matches, sometimes the reading of the match goes a little wonky, and so weird things break the laws of physics. Like, for example, I might get tossed off a ladder and go through the canvas as if it's made of rubber and then get sprung back up. Or you might hit some people, swing a ladder on one person and it hits two other people that were nearby but not close enough to be hit by the ladder.
Oh, I had a glitch similar to that where it broke the laws of physics.
Okay.
It was in, I think it was Money in the Bank. Yeah, it was Money in the Bank when I was in Universe mode. Basically, the computer went to do a finisher to the other computer and they started to stand up. Right as I got thrown into the ladder. The two computer people stayed in the air. They did a normal version of their finisher, and those two constantly stayed fighting in a floor above us that was invisible. I was like, what? And the only way I got him down was I climbed up the ladder, pressed L1 to, or whatever it was, to stand on top, targeted him and jumped off, which the second I touched him, he then remembered, oh yeah, I'm supposed to fall. Woo!
This is the part where you fall down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was like, what? But, how about you, Marcus? Any problems you've had so far?
Oh, yeah.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the rant on Brock Lesnar.
Don't even start on that. Okay, well, first of all, there's serious collision issues with this game. Where, like, for instance, they'll go for a pin, and I'll be on the ground, right? I'll be knocked out. And this happened twice online, where you guys went for a pin, I was on the ground, I got up, and I was, like, by the guy's legs. And instead of, doing what it should do, which is I get up and I'm standing near the person's legs. No, I stand up and I'm sliding along the person to the other side. So therefore, by the time I get control of my character back, they're already at the 2 count, which I'm like, what the fuck? Like, the collision is terrible in this game. Oh my god.
Yep.
And then the AI online is just really, really terrible. Like, for instance, what Jim and I like to do, and I don't know how often I'll be doing it from now on in this game because it's just that bad, but we'll set up like a 3-on-3 match. He'll take one team, I'll take another.
Elimination match.
Yeah, elimination match. Sometimes it's not elimination, but most of the time it is.
Usually it's elimination, just because that's more fun, but...
And then what we'll do is we'll, fill out the rest of the spots with computer players, and just randomly just to see who we get, because it's kind of fun that way. Except, well, the thing we like to do, at least the thing I like to do, is I like to turn no DQ on, so there's no disqualification, no, ring outs, count outs, stuff like that. And I don't know if it's because I turn that stuff on, but for whatever reason, at least one member of the AIs, usually one person on my team, gets totally fixated on going outside the ring, pulling the table apart, and putting someone through a table. To the point that they won't do anything else, they won't fight back. So that basically screws you out of a partner, because Jim basically took complete advantage of that, because the dude, barely fought back against him. I'm like, that's kind of a terrible AI.
Yeah, it should be mentioned that when said AI gets obsessed with this, it's obsessed with doing this to a non-legal partner.
Yep. I will say they did fix something with the computer online, though.
The 1 count glitch?
The thing where you can actually pin them.
Yeah, the 1 count glitch, yeah.
No, that wasn't quite the 1 count glitch. The 1 count glitch was in offline mode and stuff like that, you'd only get a 1 or a 3, there would be no 2s.
Ah.
But yeah, you couldn't pin them last year. Me and ChrisB managed to successfully win a tag team Extreme Rules before, which was awesome, but against the computer. But yeah, there's other problems. Like, I don't like what they did to the TLC with the ladder stuff. But I'll let Marcus take it that way.
Oh, the ladder stuff. Yeah. So
and
basically,
the lean off.
You can still lean stuff. From what I can tell, Jim, did we verify that you cannot run up the ladder from outside the ring into the ring? Regardless
as far as I know, we've verified that if you leave the ladder against the ropes outside the ring, you cannot run up it. Okay, so it's been verified that you can't run out from outside the ring into the ring, which sucks. However, you can still lean the ladder against another ladder. You can lean it against the ropes from inside the ring, outside the ring. Regardless of what weight class you are, I believe you can actually run
from inside the ring, outside the ring. But if you want to run up it to the ladder to knock someone off the ladder, you have to be a light heavyweight or lighter, which is kind of bullshit.
You sure you can lean them?
Yep.
So,
Press circle.
2 ladders?
Yes,
Yeah, we
press circle.
did it.
That.
We did it once in an online match where Marcus was playing as Rey Mysterio because he wanted to try it out and it didn't work, so it might be dependent upon your weight class.
Yeah.
No, you can lean it up against the ladder regardless of the weight class. You just can't run up it.
Okay, because I had trouble even leaning it. I think you have to get it exactly the right angle.
Me and the ChrisB couldn't lean it against the ladder, and it might be because we're super heavyweights. It might be heavyweights can lean it, super heavyweights can, or lightweights can run up it, but super heavyweights can't do fuck all.
Maybe.
Possible. But yeah, so like the ladder stuff is all weight dependent now, which is really stupid. There's no reason for that.
Well, there's a certain logic in the concept of super heavyweights can't do much with ladders unless they put Big Show's ladder in the game. So
yeah, but there's no logic in a heavyweight can't run up the ladder, Shelton Benjamin style when he was a heavyweight.
I would say he was on the high end of light heavyweight. I wouldn't have called him a heavyweight personally.
He was a heavyweight. He was pretty muscular. He was around like normal people size, not like Ray or Sin Cara size.
Well, could super heavyweight the Hollies run up it, you think?
I don't know. That might break the game.
Oh, that would break it.
But was there any other glitches you wanted to, or problems with the gameplay you wanted to discuss, Marcus or ChrisB?
I don't know. You mentioned the whole reversing thing, where the computer would just go on a reversal kick, or.
Okay, well, I'll add
nice
one.
for you.
I'll add one then. I found something that annoys the crap out of me online.
What's that?
I went into a ranked match. Have any of you had a ranked match yet?
No, I've had one with
No.
you.
Yeah, there's a move that people can spam.
Oh.
Because someone did it to me over and over again. I think it was CM Punk, because I don't know if it's just Punk. But, because I had it a couple of times with just Punk. They run at you, and they press whatever the button is, and it does like a push to the floor. That move's not reversible, but still damages you.
Wow.
So they just did it, and as I'm getting up, do it again, and you don't even have the indicator to say reverse. Which means, yeah, I spent the whole match doing that. After my tag team partner was eliminated in an elimination match, then John Cena picked me up, AA'd me, then CM Punk picked me up and did the go to sleep, and they were kind of doing what they did to you that year, Marcus, where they were leaving you to just constantly do that. So, yeah, I did the thing I suggested to you.
What's that?
I managed to hit one of them, and then when I finally managed to hit one of them, I ran like fuck out the ring, picked up a chair, and just smacked him in the face. I took the DQ, and I was like, nope, it's cool. I was going to lose anyway, at least I lost on my own merit.
There you go.
But, yeah, there's that glitch, which was annoying. Ultimate Warrior can't bleed.
Oh yeah, there is that.
There's a lot of glitches. Steel Cage. When I left the Steel Cage match, I went into the ring with my legs sticking up, and my legs went into the ring myself, like I was just going down into the depths of hell. And then I emerged under the ring like Hornswoggle and rolling out from underneath the ring, dead. Which was weird because I set up the move, and won the cage match. It was like, well, that's not how you leave through the door. It says leave through the door, not leave through the fucking ring.
Okay then.
Yeah.
Yeah, this game is just completely riddled with glitches. There are improvements from 13, but the glitches just kill it.
Yep, which, since we discussed that, let's move on to the big mode, and I'll let the ChrisB take it away first with this one. 30 years of WrestleMania.
It's a good idea, but it just feels like it's from last year. The road, what was last year?
Attitude Era mode.
Yeah. It was just basically that, just over the 30 years.
Yep, as I mentioned to Marcus, I felt it was just basically that over WrestleMania, and also, it was a rehash of Legends of WrestleMania, because it was the same events with the same objectives. And it was like, give me a
Story,
break. Yeah. Also, it's 30 years of WrestleMania, but yet the modern era, which I've said the modern era should be the focus of the game, but not in 30 years WrestleMania mode, if you're doing it where it's meant to celebrate the 30 years or whatever. The Ruthless Aggression era has like 12 matches and a shitload of videos, and so does the Universe era. The other one, the Attitude era has 4 matches, the New Superstars has like 7, and so does the Hogan era. It's like, what? The other 2 eras have more, and you're celebrating the 30 years, and you've made this a big deal, saying about how each era was going to be treated equally? What? I mean, it's pretty bad when some of the, like, Bret Hart matches didn't get a video, but Brock Lesnar v Goldberg gets an intro video of the epic feud. But, how about you, Jim?
I thought it was really cool. From my perspective, of all the people sitting here, I've actually probably been watching wrestling for the least amount of time. And because of that, reliving some of those matches that were before my time was really pretty cool, because while I had heard of these matches, I didn't necessarily know much about the details of what happened in them. So it was really cool to play through these matches and see the little nuances of things that happened in the matches, how they played out, stuff like that. And then when I got to the latter parts to reenact matches that I remembered watching and enjoying, and being able to take part in those matches, I thought it was pretty cool. There were certain things where it seemed like, or at least so I was told, they were not following what happened in the actual match events based on what I had looked up online to try to figure out what some of the hidden objectives were. But other than that, I thought it was really cool. I thought a lot of the arenas for WrestleMania are very well rendered. The way they have the way the superstars come out, the different entrances and whatnot, playing through the little events. It is a little repetitious given that the events are triggered by the same things. It's grapple your opponent over here. Hit your opponent with this move. Do that, go attack this person, whatever. It was a little formulaic, but considering there were different actions and cutscenes each time, it was a simple enough way to play through it and have people get used to it while still having a variety of moments and things that were happening. And I think that was pretty cool, and there were some little changes thrown in here and there that you wouldn't expect or that you would hope for, but that wouldn't, necessarily be expected. Like, for example, I played the aforementioned Goldberg-Lesnar match at WrestleMania 20. And that match came out, I was like, okay, I'm Goldberg, cool. So I played as Goldberg and did the match. So I was speaking to Marcus as I was doing this, as Marcus was already further along than me in the WrestleMania mode. And I was playing this match, and it's like, okay, hit Goldberg with hit Lesnar with a spear, hit Lesnar with a jackhammer, and pin Lesnar, win by pinfall. It's like, okay, this is pretty straightforward. I beat Lesnar, I'm going back and forth. As I'm playing the match at the end of it, this is kind of cool. What they should have done is they should have let you be control of Austin and have to stun both of them. No sooner did I finish the match, does switch. Player now controls Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm like, yes! Stun! So that was pretty cool. They worked those little things in there where they switch your controls so you can do different aspects of the match. Similar to in the earlier one at WrestleMania 9 where Hogan beats Hart. Yokozuna beats Hart, and you play as Yokozuna to defeat Bret Hart. Then it switches you to Hogan to beat Yokozuna. That's pretty cool.
Nothing about that moment was cool.
Well, I mean, the gameplay of it was cool. No, the moment itself was not. It was Hogan. He was the Cena of the day. What did you expect?
Yeah, it's the face of the company. The Hogans, the Austins, and the Cenas.
Don't get the Randy Ortons.
He's not really a face right now. I'd still Cena. So let's face it.
Orton's the face of the company. Don't you listen to the COO?
Yeah.
Anywho. Now, overall, it was a really fun mode playing through the wide range matches. There were a disproportionate number of matches in the latter portion of the 30 years. So it is there was a disproportionate number of matches from more recent times, but that sort of thing does tend to happen. Because a lot of the previous stuff, they were limited by, whose rights do they have to show and put in the game, and who's willing to have under contract and everything else. So it's kind of understandable that there were some limitations. But I think what they did, especially given the transfer from company to company and all the things that were shaken up, I think they did a really good job putting out this mode and having a lot of awesome stuff that fans really enjoy. And I think that's a pretty cool thing. The only thing I do hope is that for next year, given that they did Attitude Era last year, now this is all the whole era of 30 years of WrestleMania, I'm hoping next year they can, with 2K fully in control, they can go back to a full-on brass tacks and bring it back to all the full entire modern WWE roster on there with a few select legends, playing through, having a, you know,
don't start discussing future games.
Yeah.
No, this is for our next thing, dude. So no, curb it.
Yeah. Anyway, overall, I just really liked the mode. I thought it was pretty cool, and I think it could lead to some cool stuff in future games. So I really liked the mode. I enjoyed it. It was kind of short, yes, but I think that's because, you know, for most people would intentionally play through it to get what they can unlocked in order to then set up their universal creative superstars and whatnot, so you have all the wide variety of moves and abilities and signs and everything else available to use from all them legends, so.
Unless you did what I did.
Yeah, so, or unless you know more, then it just downloaded the accelerator and unlocked everything from the start.
Yeah, but I still went through and beat Road to WrestleMania.
Yes, of course, we got to unlock the videos and the pictures and stuff.
Yeah, it still gave me a reason to do it, which was cool. But how about you, Marcus? What do you feel about this mode?
I liked the presentations of it. Some of the matches were kind of inaccurate, and yeah, I could totally see your point about it being repetitious and very similar to Attitude Era. My favorite match, I do have to say though, that in terms of presentation, has to be Shawn Michaels v. Ric Flair for the retirement match, because they put in all the requisite moments of like Shawn Michaels crying, like "I'm sorry," pow. Which I thought was kind of cool that they bothered to pay that much attention to detail for that. I was like, that's impressive.
I was sad that wasn't part of the Sweet Chin music.
Yeah, they need an "I'm sorry, Sweet Chin" music. That'd be awesome.
I would have took that just to tell you, Marcus, I'm sorry, I love you.
That'd be awesome. Or at least, at the very least, they should put that in for the create a move as a beginning grapple for a taunt of "I'm sorry, I love you." To start any move. That'd be awesome. But anyway, we'll talk about that in WXR. But one thing that really annoyed me was there was a few, 2, 3, maybe 4 different ones, where the objectives were to hit your opponent with like 4 finishers or some ridiculous number where you had to build it up. And that got annoying because the AI would just sit there knowing you had to hit 4 finishers, would just build up their finisher count either just by beating you up and building it up, or by reversing a couple of your finisher attempts. And literally sit and wait until you get down to where you have to hit the last finisher, and then just turn around and hit you with every single finisher they built up to the point where you just can't do anything.
I have it slightly different to that.
Oh?
Where the last one you didn't want to hit, they reverse every single finisher you've got.
That too, yeah. Jim ran into that. But the one that sticks out in my mind is Undertaker v. CM Punk, where you have to hit him, I believe it's either hit him with the chokeslam or you lock him in the Hell's Gate, and then you have to hit him with like 2 tombstones or some 2 or 3 tombstones. And I got to the point where I had 1 tombstone left to hit, and CM Punk had reversed a couple of my finishers, so he had like 3 finishers stored up. He hit me with the go to sleep, landed me next to the rope, so rope break, I probably could have kicked out anyway. Then we battled and I went up top, jumped off the do an aerial move, he caught me, go to sleep, rope break. I got up, I did something, and then I started running at him, and this year they have launcher finishers where if you throw someone off the ropes, or if they run at you and you have a finisher, you press L1 and you'll launch them in the air and you can do a finisher. I ran at him, he grabbed me, launched me in the air, hit me with the go to sleep, and there was just nothing I could do. Just in succession, just boom, 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 one after the other, just hit me with his go to sleep, using every variation of it. I was just like, fuck you, Punk!
That's something we didn't touch upon.
What's that?
The catapult finishers.
Yes. I haven't actually used them, but I've seen them, I've had them used on me. But go ahead, Mo.
Oh, I thought you were going to. Basically, you throw your opponent into the rope, you press L1, you lift them up, quickly press triangle, you do your finisher. It looks awkward as fuck on everything except the RKO.
Actually, it doesn't look too bad on the Code Breaker either.
I've done it on the Code Breaker. I did not like the animation.
Fair enough.
I thought it looked okay with the go to sleep, because Punk just tosses you in the air, catches you on his shoulders, and then does it. It looks pretty fluid. At least it did when he did it on me.
Yeah, but he can do it to Big Show.
Okay, that's awkward as fuck.
No one can lift the Big Show. No one can lift Yokozuna. Boom! Catch you and catch finish you.
No one can lift Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
But yeah, the catch finishers are cool. The only problem I noticed with those is that they're unless you intentionally whip someone off the ropes and then launch and do the finisher, it's really hard to pull off. Like, I've tried during several matches, even with these guys, where I've waited for them to run at me, and then I've tried to do the L1, and it does not work. So, it's harder to do it, especially if they start running at you and you don't have time to react and hit it, and if you're not intentionally thinking about it, it's really hard to get the move off. If they suddenly run at you, and you're like, oh, wait, I can do the catch, but then you can't do it, so.
But since we did the WrestleMania mode, Marcus, did you want to lead us away with online?
Sure. Before that, there is one other thing I did want to mention, now that I was thinking about it, in terms of gameplay that I did like, that they improved it last year. I think the AI is improved from last year, aside from that weird-ass, like, announcer's table fetish that they get once in a while. The fact that they will actually go for their finishing moves, they'll actually try to, do moves on you and stuff. Although I have read that there are some times when the computer will have you dead to rights and do absolutely nothing.
Yep, I've had where I've been dead, the computer's done nothing, which you don't want to do with the ultimate opportunist here. But no.
Exactly.
I've also had it where they get me onto signature me. I'm clearly not weak, but yet they'll still go for the pin.
Yeah. That is weird.
I also had a weird glitch where if I'm outside the ring and they try to grapple me right as I'm going into the ring, the computer is never ending trying to grapple me outside, just grabbing. It's like, okay, special. Oh, torn to outside. Don't mark it. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Yeah, there's some glitches like that. But I think overall the AI has improved, at least to the point where I feel they actually represented a challenge to me. Like, because last year, because the AI was so broken, it really wouldn't do anything. I could literally go up into the match and just decimate them because they won't take advantage of situations. Whereas this year, at least half the time they will, so you never know if they're just going to come out of nowhere and beat your ass.
Yep. I will add one more thing, but then I'll ask you to go to, after I've added this, instead of online, do you want to go to streak mode if it's tied to WrestleMania? Or would you allow us to do the online? That's up to you. Which one would you rather do, online or streak?
Streak.
Streak. Okay, I'll do streak. I've only played through once, but yeah.
Fair enough, but I found out Richter reminded me below with a joke he asked where did they have to hug it out chant. A chant made it into the game this year.
Oh?
Yes, when I was fighting Cena, I actually got "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks. Let's go Cena, Cena sucks." Yeah,
they've added a lot of chants, which is kind of cool, except when they do random chants for people who aren't in the match. You're like, wait.
Yeah, they broke the sound, like commentators. Oh my god.
Yeah.
And also, where the hell is the yes chant?
No idea, but
part of the time.
Yeah, like I said, they broke the commentators. The commentators will, for example, I did an OMG on the apron, DDT, and I hear my call go, "Oh my god, he just shattered the barricade with that spear." I'm like, what? Who did? Yeah. What? Did the ref just do something to someone when I wasn't looking? But I've also had it where in an Iron Man match, I had 5 falls, the computer had 0. The computer then finally managed to get a victory, and it goes, "Yes, this is his 5th fall this match." I'm like, what? And luckily it didn't count it, but that worried the fuck out of me. I was like, what? Because it was only like 30 seconds left. I'm like, don't do that, Cole. But the commentator is just all sorts of fucked up. The sound glitches, loads of sound glitches. I'll get into a big one when we go into Universe mode. But
I will say, I do like the fact that they've added crowd participation with certain taunts and stuff. Like, for instance, with Ryback's finish it, he'll actually say, "Finish it!" And the crowd will, like, chant along with him.
Yeah,
or like, "Everybody, yes." They'll go, "Yes, yes, yes."
Nice.
Yeah, it's kind of cool how they did that. But yes, so streak mode. I've not done Defend the Streak, which, to my understanding, is just Slobber Knocker mode, and you unlock Slobber Knocker mode by playing it. Is that correct, Chris?
Pretty much, yeah. Slobber Knocker, but you're forced to be Undertaker.
Yeah, pretty much. And you don't get powers, which sucks, so you're not really defending the streak. It's like, if I'm defending the streak, give me powers.
You have the power to be bored.
Yeah, there you go. And Defeat the Streak was kind of interesting. I didn't get the powers really at all. I got them like once or twice. It's kind of cool, when the lights go out, they pop up, he's still behind you. Pops up behind you and then tombstones you. But for the most part, I almost never got powers, and he beat the holy piss out of me. To the point where I was playing Shawn Michaels, I finally said, "Screw this," went out of the ring, and I just started beating the ever-living crap out of him with weapons.
Mm.
and won that way. Because I'm like, yeah, enough of this crap.
Well, I think you're just clearly not as good as the game as Chris the Mole, who beat him with 5 different dudes the first time.
I didn't say 5. I beat him 3 times so far.
Okay.
That's also because he regularly plays on Legend difficulty, which...
I play on Legend Mole, thank you.
No, I was saying Legend mode. That's what I was saying.
Legend Mole, thank you.
So you said it, Legend Mole, it's Skype canon.
Yep. I might just cut off every part of this review except for him saying Legend Mole.
I think the streak, defeat the streak and defend the streak is a good concept. I think they could have done it a lot better.
I think it should have been a different thing.
What do you mean?
If it's 30 years of WrestleMania, because obviously they're not going to do this next year, so it's not future games, I'm talking about correcting this one. Instead of defend or defeat the streak, it should have been almost like, probably, I'd say it should have been like, what's the name for WWE All-Stars? You get a video come up showing you the feud, and not all of them, because not all the characters are in, but like Undertaker Diesel, instead of putting it in the WrestleMania one they had, it should have been in the 30 years, it should have been in the streak mode, and then you could play as either Diesel and get the powers and stuff against you a little bit, or you could have played as Undertaker and beat him, and every time you beat him, or you beat Undertaker, you unlock something. So it's constant, it's going through all the actual streak matches, not seeing Undertaker go against Heath Slater in a slobber knocker.
Mm. Yeah.
See, what I think they should have done for defend the streak, because it's good, like I said, again, defend, defeat the streak, good concept. For defend the streak, and I understand why they didn't, because they don't have all the people in the game, but they should have set it up where you're Undertaker, maybe you get powers, maybe you don't, but you're basically defending the streak against people who have previously fallen to the Undertaker, so it's like everyone's getting a second chance. Since it's supposed to be 30 years of WrestleMania, you basically have 29 people that you defend against.
Or 4th chance if you're Triple H.
Yeah. And then what happens is, so you do it against that, and at the beginning of, when you select defend the streak, you get to select one superstar. And that's the third superstar who comes out at the WrestleMania 30 arena, who's the last person to try to defeat the streak. So you can set whoever you want, like even yourself. And you play as the Undertaker trying to defend the streak. And it's like, okay, now who's going to try to beat the streak? Will this be the 30th, or however many, is it 22, I guess?
No.
Is this going to be the 22nd guy? So you get that kind, or you even set it to random. You don't even have to say random. Say choose somebody. I think it'd be kind of cool.
See, I had made a joke with that to the Fallen Angel. It was either the Fallen Angel, it was Jim, or it was ChrisB. It was one of those 3. But I made a joke about that.
Oh. How do you get those 3 confused? None of us are anything alike.
I know, the other 2 are interesting.
Oh.
You walked into that, but yeah. I made a joke of, instead of 30 years WrestleMania, it should have been Road to WrestleMania again. And you spend the entire thing building up your CAW, getting into Max, making him the most dominant force in WWE, and then the last match is defend the streak as your Undertaker against your now unstoppable CAW who dares challenge the streak.
Wow. That'd be interesting. But we can go more into that on WXR.
No, that wasn't going to be something I want to see in a later game. That's what I said the streak could have been.
Yep.
I don't think I'd ever want that. But since I already gave you this before, do online. Take us away with online, Marcus.
Okay, well, I haven't done any ranks, so you said you have, so you can talk about that. But for the most part, online, number one, it works. That's the big thing. It actually fucking works this year.
It does? I can play you right now?
Well, aside from the patch thing. But when we have the same version, it'll work. Because, we can actually play with the ChrisB. He can connect, unlike last year. So it actually works. They kind of fixed it, which is nice. The AI, as I alluded to earlier, busted as all hell.
But better than last year.
But better than last year. Yeah. It's fluid, less lag. There is still lag. Almost in every match, but it doesn't stay the whole match, so we can deal with that. Although there was one weird thing that happened. It was me, Jim, and the Passing Through reviewer were playing online. And I believe it was Jim who did his comeback, and when you do the comeback, they have that weird-ass slow-mo. It did the slow-mo, and then after the comeback, the slow-mo persisted for like the next 5 minutes of gameplay. And then it finally went away, because we were like, is this the lag or is this a glitch? And I'm thoroughly convinced it's a glitch from the slow-mo, that the slow-mo just forgot to turn off or something.
That wasn't with the passing through.
Was that with you?
That was with me. When I kept making a joke of it was slow motion, every time I hit a move during it, I was, what you say?
Okay, I apologize. It was with you then.
Yeah, because he hit a move on me, and that was what triggered the slow mo. And then it
fair enough.
And actually, that happened again later on in a one-on-one match where I was facing the mole here in a ladder match, and he RKO'd me, and the camera cut to aiming at the ring from the ramp side. In order to facilitate the camera shot for the RKO. Then the camera did not revert, and because the game didn't understand what the hell was going on, it then inverted the controls.
But I still won.
He still won.
And that's the other thing, you guys could talk about it, because I haven't really experienced it. The glitched all fuck to hell cameras in this game. Take it away, Mo.
I've only had the glitched cameras in online. I've not had it offline. I've only had it once online.
I was talking about in general, like camera angles in the create stuff and all that crap, just cameras in general.
Yeah, I only had one, and that was with Jim. Although, technically, since we're talking about creative stuff as well, I will mention the backstage stuff. You can't edit cameras on scene, so it kind of makes story design pointless this year. It works, unlike last time, but you can't get as in-depth with it. But, how about you, Chris? Have you experienced any cameras glitches?
Actually, wasn't there a camera glitch in the created entrance that you mentioned to me or something? No. When you're trying to ship camera angles in the created entrance, it would glitch for some reason?
Oh, no, that was when I said to you, for some reason, when I actually viewed the entrance, it was different camera angles to what the game was previewing, which was weird, but...
Fair enough.
That was just weird, but... How about you, Chris? Anything with online?
No, I haven't had any problems with that yet.
Ironically, online is the one mode that works the best.
I did have a problem with the first person I played in ranked was just way too easy.
Really?
I'm grinning because it was ChrisB.
You actually bought him in ranked?
Yeah, me and ChrisB managed to get into a ranked match in it against each other.
Here's a question for you.
We did not finger poke or doom it.
Here's a question for you since I haven't tried ranked yet. Do they allow you to choose who you fight ranked matches against if you want to fight against a friend, or is it completely random like last year?
It's random-ish like last year. However, like last year, you can do what me and ChrisB did because we wanted to go against each other. And we said, well, if we're going against each other, let's make it ranked. Because it wasn't going to be a case of we were letting the other one win. It was a case of we were going to compete fairly anyway, so it wasn't boosting. What we did is we went onto the search thing where you listed the matches. We saw which ones had 0. We made a match there, and then we got the other one to quickly go and search for that match type. So we were the only ones in that match type.
Fair enough.
Sneaky, huh?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's not much to say about online. I mean, there's some glitches and stuff, but for the most part, it actually works. That's pretty much all I can say about online, is it actually works.
Are you sure? Are you sure that's what you want to say for online? Yes. Like ChrisB said, DLC? The community.
Oh, yeah. The DLC. Oh, my God, yeah, okay. So, so they just came out, 2K just came out with a patch for... Yeah, it's a pre-patch for the DLC coming out on Tuesday. But it's only... I believe it's a PS3 only patch, and it's only in the US. And because console games these days are now, for all intents and purposes, the same thing as PC games, there are now version discrepancies within the game. So, because I and Jim have this patch, we're running 2K14 version 1.01, whereas Chris and Chris over in the UK, they don't have the patch yet, so they're running version 1.00. Because there's a version discrepancy, we can't play each other!
Yep,
which I'm like, oh.
I will just say it's a PS3 patch only because, from what I understand, and I've seen this in other games and stuff as well, the 360 handles DLC better than the PS3. PS3 always needs a patch for DLC. 360 doesn't.
Fair enough.
Would I be right with that, Rick?
Because it updates automatically.
Yeah.
And then
Usually,
there's the other thing too of, alright, two things. One is the fact that, as we mentioned before, the mole made Thor with Triple H head. Put the Ultimate Warrior, Ultimate Splash, as like his finishing move or signature or something. And I couldn't look at him without I couldn't even view him without the stinking season pass, which I'm like, but I have Ultimate Warrior, what the hell? I'm like, oh my god.
Yep. It also
And then your picture thing, I'm just like,
You couldn't even view a screenshot.
Yeah, my screenshot of me, which was from the cage match I mentioned earlier, they couldn't view it because my CAW has a load of DLC moveset from Biker Taker, which is hilarious as well, because when my character's uploaded, no one with Season Pass can download me either, because Jim couldn't download me, but it kept telling him to get the DLC to download me, but he has to get the Season Pass, he has the Season Pass.
Maybe when the versions are correct with the Season Pass, maybe we can download you. We can test that later.
Well, no, because the thing is, the Ultimate Warrior was only a pre-order for the regular edition, so it ties to the edition, whereas the Undertaker stuff was special for just that one particular version, so maybe it can't detect a pre-order bonus, but it can detect what version of the game you have.
My version's the same game. Inside the Undertaker coffin I've got right here is basically...
You got a code for him, right?
Yeah, it's a DLC code, but the box for the game itself is still The Rock on one side, Daniel Bryan on the other. It's the exact same game, I just got an extra character to download.
Okay. Yeah, it's like the pre-order thing with Ultimate Warrior where you get a code for. It's
the
same thing. Just ridiculous! Community works this year, too. I think Community works better this year than it did last year, so...
It works.
At least the functionality of online play is improved. It actually works.
Yep. Which... That'll lead us to the next section, and I'll do Universe last.
Mm-hmm.
Have any of you played much Universe?
No. I've messed around with like the team stuff. I do have some things to say about it, but I haven't actually started my Universe yet, no.
Okay, I'll let you start then, since I know Jim hadn't played much Universe. He said he's just been setting up, but go.
Right, well, this year, they've separated your exhibition roster from your Universe roster, which I can understand. Not like this. I can understand why I think it's dumb. Now, if you want to edit anything that has to do with your Universe's roster, like the teams, your team's interests and stuff, you have to go in through... and no, they didn't actually really separate. They separated in terms of shows. Like, if you set your show in Universe, what show I wanted John Cena on, it did not set it for exhibition. But everything else, entrances, team stuff, all that stuff, you could do through either last year.
Yeah, but I meant, like, the titles weren't also carried
Yeah,
over
the titles,
stuff.
yeah. But this year, if you want to do anything with your teams, if you make teams in Universe mode, they don't show up as teams in your exhibition mode. And which means, if I go into, like, say, edit, like, create an entrance teams from the main menu, it only shows the teams in your exhibition mode. If I want to edit the entrance of a team from Universe mode, I actually have to go into Universe mode, go into the teams, so menu, submenu, 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 and say edit entrance, and then it'll bring me into the Universe mode's version of the create an entrance thing, which is basically the same, but it's like, why? That's needless button clicks, just no.
Yep.
Oh, such a pain in the ass to set all that crap up. But, you know, they do have the new rivalry systems and whatnot, but Mole can talk you through that because he's actually played Universe mode.
Yep, I played a few years in Universe mode.
Excellent.
And as I mentioned to the other two before, Jim, and Richter, if you two can still hear us.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Check it out. You know, like WWE always has eras?
Yes.
My Universe mode is now, as I put it to them, I called it Crisis of Infinite Eras.
Nice.
I have a team of the originals, which is Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Undertaker, and Bret Hart,
Okay.
called the originals. And I have a team called Attitude Era with Austin, Rock, Mick Foley, and Edge. I've gone through, I've customized all the pay-per-views and got rid of all the themed pay-per-views, and I've mixed up the pay-per-views themes between modern day, Attitude Era, and my favourite era. I've mixed those, so I've got elements of all three in one. So it's basically the eras are now feuding because the older guys have come back to try and take their spot. So I'm calling it Era of Infinite Eras. Or
Nice.
Crisis of Infinite Eras, I should say. Rivalry system's pretty cool, but gets repetitive and stupid fast. Like, check out, I put CM Punk versus The Rock in a feud. Logically, after we've seen on TV, and logically based on who they're aligned with, because they were aligned with no one at the time, we know how this feud should go. It should be a simple feud. It turns out that for months it all revolved around Ascana randomly coming out and teaming with one of them. Then, in another one I had with me, I had the same cutscenes every single month. The same storyline, it just repeated itself over and over again every month. It was like, oh god, stop that. I wish you could choose the types of rivalry modes so you could get around that, but that was kind of stupid. I've had Universe mess up rankings before now, or erase rivalries, but I will say overall with the customization and stuff, I'm really loving Universe mode. If you get into it and you put the effort into it, because I say the effort because I've spent before now, I spent hours doing it, and like today I spent like at least 4 or 5 hours just making my universe for Crisis of Infinite Universes when I had the idea. I spent fucking hours just setting this up. If you get in and you put the effort in, it is kind of fun. Universe mode's fun.
Now, it would be worth mentioning 2 things with the rivalry system. One, if you have rivalries on a show and you plan to get rid of the show, get rid of the rivalries first. Otherwise, the superstars in those rivalries will not be able to be used with any other rivalries because they'll be stuck in the rivalries on a show that does not exist.
Yep, there is that.
The second thing is, and I'm surprised Mole didn't mention this because it facilitated one of his 3 restarts of his universe. Randomly, it decided, hey, you know what? The game was like, you know what? I'm gonna delete all your rivalries. So it did, and apparently, according to what Mole has told me and told us, rivalries, you can set them whenever you want, but they will not begin until the 1st of every month. And because his rivalries disappeared, like the 2nd week of the month, you're like, yeah, I'm not going to go through the rest of this month without any rivalries. Fuck that.
Yep, which, I mentioned that a second ago. I did mention my rivalries had been erased. I had that, and I had stuff get messed up like rankings and stuff, but it's fixed now, it's working well. I will also say to you, Jim, I have a show every week, every day of the week almost, except for Sundays.
Okay then.
Because I have Monday main event, which is my main roster, because it's like an element of SmackDown and Raw together. I then have a Raw live show. I then have an NXT live show. Then I have a main event live show. Then I have Superstars. Then I have NXT. Then I have Saturday Morning Slam.
Nice.
The NXT and main event at the main show, the other ones are minor, which means that's something else you can do. Like, you can take custom belts, make your own brands and stuff, like better than you could last year. You can also put multiple rosters on one show if you choose to. Choose how many host a pay-per-view. You can have like 3 or 4 rosters on one show if you choose to. But it's pretty cool. They have improved Universe mode. It's slightly better than last year. I am enjoying it, especially because I'm getting cutscenes now.
Yeah.
Oh, you should mention the irony of revolving around divas in Universe mode that you mentioned to me.
Oh, the one where I mentioned about their own show?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember that they made it a big deal on the announcement, ChrisB, about you can make divas have their own show?
Yeah.
I did that. I put all the divas on one show.
Set the divas title as the main title.
Yeah, set the women's title as the main title. And, yeah, the game then turns around and says to me, ooh, sorry, you don't have enough people in this roster to keep putting on matches, and as many matches as you need, which is 5 to make it an actual show. you can have an old Divas. You can possibly have an old Divas minor show, but the minor shows are linked to the actual shows, so you'd have to have superstars on there. So yeah, you can't have an old Divas show. It doesn't let you have an old Divas show.
Well, I like this. Technically speaking, you might be able to, because remember, 2 more Divas are coming DLC, and that might give you enough.
I'm not counting DLC. I'm talking about what's in the game right now.
Mm-hmm.
Could you make Divas to add them to the show?
Yeah, you could make Divas to add them to the show, and
There
you
you
could
go.
possibly download Divas, like Jim said, in the future. But the way they presented it was all the Divas in the game. You could take all the Divas. They said you could take all the Divas in the game and make a show based around them. You cannot do that.
You can. It depends on your definition of in the game. Because remember, when you had the Bellas and the fuck's her name, Summer Rae coming, so that would up you from how many are in the game? 5 or 6 Divas to about 8. So therefore, 8 or 9. So you would probably have enough to run a show at that point.
You have to have enough for 5 matches.
You have to have at least 10 people.
Yeah, you have to have at least 10 to have 5 matches, because the minimum of a major show is 5. But I don't know how many Divas are coming DLC, but they're not in the game, they're DLC. But yeah, it's still a negative point.
It's just 3. It's the Bellas and Summer Rae.
Irony.
Yep.
But yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's kind of weird and stupid. But shall we round this review off then?
Sure.
We shall.
Okay, scores out of 10 based on what you've seen. I'll let Ricktor go first.
5.5.
I'm cool.
Chirp.
No, I was listening to. I was waiting for someone else to go next. Whichever one wanted to go next. I just chose Ricktor first. As the poor guy had hardly played the game. He needed at least one thing that he could lead in.
Fair enough.
So take away, ChrisB. What's your score?
I'll give it about 7.
Fair enough. Jim.
I'd say probably give it a 7. I agree with ChrisB.
Okay, Marcus.
I give it a 6.
Fair enough, and I'd give it a 4.5. So that was our thoughts and opinions. Also tune in later on this week over on the X-Pound. We're doing a slight follow-up with most of the same people, if not all of them, talking about what we want for the future of wrestling games. Check that out now. As always, I was your host, Chriz, aka The Mole. I was joined by Marcus Shadow, Chris Bell, or ChrisB, Ricktor, and James Phoenix. See ya.